Oh my goodness. Hi, it's Guy Kawasaki, and today I'm going to talk about the art of evangelism. And as all things, Murphy's Law, I was all set to use my desktop, and I tried 3 times, and 3 times the video stopped. So now you see me futzing with my phone to make this all level and stuff. And I'm trying to figure out which camera it's using. So apparently it's that one. So, not the smoothest start I've ever had, but you know, anybody can deal with live video when everything is perfect. Takes a real evangelist to do it when it's not. So, let's just look at the background here. It looks fairly clean. So, I am in Santa Cruz, California, and the first thing I'd love to know is where are you watching from? So, post a comment about where you're watching from. Also, because I was trying to use my desktop and it sort of aborted 3 times, why don't you post a comment to tell me that things are working okay on your end, both sound and video. Okay? So, yes. Now I'm not Santa Cruz. Oh, you're in the Santa Cruz Mountains, Carmel, California. A lot of Californians here. Colleen is on. All right. So I'm going to talk to you today about the art of evangelism. This is tied into a course that I recently released at Udemy, and we're running a special. And in the comment section, you'll see a special pricing for this. So let me tell you about evangelism. I first became aware of the term in a secular sense in the Macintosh division. I was Apple's 2nd software evangelist. So my job was to convince Macintosh developers of both hardware and software to create Macintosh products. And we used fervor and zeal, but never ever money, to convince people to write software and create hardware. The word evangelism comes from Greek roots, meaning bringing the good news. So what I did was I brought the good news of Macintosh to developers. And by good news, we meant that Macintosh would empower people, make them more creative, would dent the universe, in Steve Jobs' terms, to make the world a better place. So rather than saying that we're selling a new personal computer, we were evangelizing a new personal computer, because Macintosh was good news. It was good news for consumers because it would make them more creative and productive. It was good news for developers because it would enable them to create software they never could have created before because of the richness of the Macintosh ROMs. And it enabled developers to reach an entirely new market. Back then it was only Apple II and MS-DOS. So we thought that Macintosh, the computer, would reach a different kind of person, and the more people we reached and the more different kind of people we reached, the larger the market for developers. So that was the theory. And Mike Boych, who was the first software evangelist, what we would do is we'd grab our little Macintosh prototype and we'd hit the road, and we would meet with developers, typically under a non-disclosure, and we would show them Macintosh. We would talk about the technology of Macintosh, the marketing of Macintosh. And, you know, people either got it or they didn't. So let me give you some quick principles about evangelism. So lots of people ask me, you know, what is like the most important point for evangelism? And I'll tell you, this is called Guy's Golden Touch. And Guy's Golden Touch is not whatever I touch turns to gold. I wish that was true. Guy's Golden Touch is whatever is gold Guy touches. And so what I'm trying to tell you is that the key to great evangelism is that you affiliate with a great product, because it is much easier to evangelize a great product than it is to evangelize crap. Trust me when I tell you this, because I've tried to do it both ways. So, you know, it's very easy to evangelize Macintosh. Right now, I'm the chief evangelist of a company called Canva, out of Sydney, Australia, online graphics design service. And it's very easy to evangelize Canva because it's so great. So lesson number 1 is, if you want to be a great evangelist, find or create a great product or service. Okay? So that's the baseline. Now, next thing you need to do is you need to understand that you're bringing good news. You're not simply schlepping some kind of new computer, schlepping some kind of web-based design service. This is good news that you're making people more creative, more productive. You have to believe that. If you don't believe that, it's going to be very hard to evangelize anything you don't believe in. So you need to believe that it's good news. The third thing I'll tell you is that you really need to have a great deal of respect for your prospective customer, which is to say, you don't believe that you can bludgeon them into becoming a customer, that using promotion and advertising, you're just going to pound them into submission. Evangelism isn't like that at all. So the key to evangelism is that you have respect for these people, you have this great product, and then what I would try to do is enable people to test drive your product or service. Basically, you're saying to them, I think you're smart, and because I think you're smart, I'm going to enable you to try my product, try my service, and then you decide. And if you do that, and you have a great product, then people embrace it, and they will turn into evangelists. And that is a beautiful thing, because evangelism becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, an upward spiral. And so, you have respect for them, you have this great product service, you say test drive it, and they love it, and then they buy it, and then they tell more people to buy it and love it. And that's sort of the perfect case of evangelism. But again, it starts with a great product. Next thing is that there's a principle that I call plant many seeds, which means that, typically sales, which is all about your own quota and your own income. You target people. You have this very intellectual basis of who exactly you should reach. And my experience with evangelism is that too much targeting is not a good thing. That you should let 100 flowers blossom, which means that you put your product, your service out there, and you see where it takes root. And if it takes root in places you didn't anticipate, you don't freak out. You don't go crazy. You don't say, wow, the wrong people are buying our product or service and they're using it in the wrong way. There is no wrong consumption of your product. So let 100 flowers blossom. If people want to buy your Macintosh not to do spreadsheet, database, or word processing, but they want to buy it for desktop publishing, hallelujah, man, declare victory. If you are Avon and you create a product called Skin So Soft, whose obvious purpose is to make your skin soft, but then you find that moms are buying Skin So Soft in order to prevent insect bites on their children, let 100 flowers blossom, hallelujah, declare victory. One of the keys to Silicon Valley success is you need to know how to declare victory, because the way it works in Silicon Valley is we throw a lot of stuff up against the wall. Some of it sticks, then we go up to the wall and we paint a bullseye around it. So this guarantees you hit the target. So let 100 flowers blossom, but plant many seeds. The next principle of evangelism is you need to provide a safe first step, which is to say that you don't want to make people have a very heavy decision, a very risky decision. This is a mistake that we made with the Macintosh division. We tried to get companies to just convert all their computing to Macintosh. And that's too heavy a step. It's too big a step. And so you need to give them a small step, an easy step. So an easy step would be, instead of trying to convert all of your IT infrastructure to Macintosh, how about you just do your graphics with Macintosh? How about you just do your publishing with Macintosh? How about you just create PowerPoints with Macintosh? And just let Macintosh get in through the side and the bottom of the company and not try to ram it down the throats from the top. That truly never worked. So provide a safe first step. With Canva, we're not trying to tell you to throw out Photoshop and throw out Lightroom and Illustrator. Just do the graphics that you need right away. Start that way. And then if you have a product like Macintosh or Canva, you'll see that more and more people use it. Probably not your intended users, and they're going to use it in unintended ways. And again, frickin' hallelujah, declare victory. Okay? So, provide a safe first step. The next thing, when you try to evangelize a product or service, is you basically give it your best pitch. You know, the Macintosh is easier to use, it'll empower a different kind of person. We're going to bring people to computers that would never brought before. Canva's pitch is, you know, that you don't need to buy an expensive product, you don't need to spend weeks learning it. We'll enable you to create great graphics. Here, test drive the product. So basically, you pitch, you shut up, and you listen. And some people will say, well, the reason why I love Macintosh is because it's easy to use. Some people will say the reason we love Macintosh is because we love the graphical user interface. Some people will say we love Macintosh because it's so easy to set up. And some, for example, with developers, you know, some people said, well, we love Macintosh because we can create software we could have never created before. Some people said, yeah, we want to expand our marketing. Other people said, well, we want the financial return of another, you know, different stream. And so the key here is that people will often tell you how to evangelize them. If it's ease of use, if it's expense, if it's data conversion, if it's alternate market, if it's to screw a competitor, or whatever it is, my recommendation is you pitch, you shut up, you listen to what resonates with them, then you regurgitate it. So if a developer told us that the reason why they like Macintosh is because it had very rich ROMs and a great programming environment, hallelujah. From then on, we talked only about that, because if that's what their priority is, that works for us too. So shut up, listen, regurgitate. The next thing is you should always localize your efforts when you evangelize something. That there's often a temptation to talk about the fourth paradigm of personal computing or this revolution. And I think that often is, quite frankly, bullshit. But also, you know, people don't wake up in the morning saying, God, if I could only revolutionize computing. If I could only, you know, change the history of graphic design. I suppose some people do get up that way in the morning, but most people just want to make a social media graphic. They want to make a presentation, or, you know, they want to make a newsletter. And so for those people, you talking about a revolution in computing is irrelevant in a sense, or just plain stupid. So why don't you say that one person sitting at one computer without any IT support can create great graphics, or can create great documents, and bring it back, you know, specifically to the person about how it'll make their lives better. So, you know, these are, one more thing I want to tell you. The best thing in the world for evangelism is social media. Because back when I evangelized Macintosh in the mid-80s, you know, the tools we had were copper-based phone, airplane tickets, and, you know, reimbursal of gasoline. And so we were extremely limited on who we could reach and how we could reach them. And today, yeah, case in point, we have thousands of people are going to watch this video. It's fast, it's free, it's ubiquitous. With Facebook Live and LinkedIn and Twitter and Pinterest and Instagram, with webinars, Skype, and all this kind of stuff, man, it is a great time to be an evangelist, because all these things are fast and free and ubiquitous. So social media is the best thing that ever happened to evangelists. If you're not using social media for evangelists, you suck. You're just an idiot. You're a bozo. So those are some overarching principles of evangelism. Let's see if there's any comments or questions. Again, this is based on a course that I just released at Udemy. We're running a special right now. I think it's about $25, where over the course of several hours, I truly get into the nuts and bolts of evangelism. So we'll post the link, or probably we have posted the link. The lovely Peg Fitzpatrick has taken care of that. So you can get the course. And what else? That's it. So let's see. Why can Apple not innovate for the last 5 years? What is missing? Yeah, that is a good question. Well, first of all, I would argue that Apple has innovated some, but I feel your pain, you know. I use a Macintosh, and I use iPhone, and there's stuff that I just can't understand. Like why did they take away MagSafe? And why is it that I buy a $4,500 MacBook Pro and there's no SD card reader, and I gotta go buy all these dongles to read my camera? I mean, my data card. Probably because Apple doesn't use SLRs, and so everything is on an iPhone, so they never had to stick an SD card in it. But you know what? That ain't the real world. One obvious answer is that Steve Jobs is no longer with us, but one would hope that, you could continue innovating. And I gotta say, I have to scratch my head. I don't understand it. The latest MacBook Pro is not that big a leap. iPhone hasn't had a big leap for a while. I have to say though, the portrait photography of iPhone is very cool. I really like that. But this is freaking 2017 and you can't charge an iPhone wirelessly yet. I had Motorola phones, years ago, literally years ago, that I could just stick on a charging pad. And now I use a Mophie case, so I do have wireless charging, but why I have to buy a Mophie case to wireless charge a phone is beyond me in 2017. So I guess the bottom line answer is I share your pain. I don't have an explanation, but I sure hope they get to the next curve. Let's see here. Michael Dean, don't forget the Mac user groups. Yeah, let's talk about Mac user groups. So, back in the 80s and 90s, Apple wasn't doing so well, and there was this group of people that picked up the slack, and it's the Macintosh user groups. And these people were kind of the purest form of evangelism because they weren't getting paid. They weren't hardly getting supported by Apple. They just loved Macintosh so much that they thought it was a way to increase people's creativity and productivity, that they formed these groups. And they did a great job supporting Macintosh. And so yes, thank you for bringing that up. So, and the reason why there were Macintosh user groups is, of course, because great product, duh. So great products create user groups. Think of all the Harley Davidson owners, with the HOG, Harley Owners Group phenomenon, that kind of thing. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. And just a second here, I think my awesome buddy Peg Fitzpatrick, which I'm going to open up a window here, Peg, because using a phone to do Facebook Live is very difficult to see comments. So why don't you send the questions you want me to answer via text message? So Benjamin, do you use the information just to change your story, or do you get the product guys to change the product too? So Benjamin is alluding to the fact that, I'm saying you go out there, you pitch, you listen, you regurgitate. So yeah, in a perfect world, people would tell you how to change products. You'd go right back to the lab and it would change immediately. But we don't live in a perfect world. I've never worked for a company that changed stuff that fast. So I think a lot of it is that to start, you really have to have a great product that has anticipated most of those questions. Anybody can evangelize a perfect product, okay? So it takes someone really skillful to evangelize products with flaws, and all products have flaws. So yeah, in a perfect world, it would be instant fix, but it's not a perfect world. And I think it's up to you to convince people why either it can be done in another way, perhaps not perfectly, but it's sufficiently, and why, yes, there may be a shortcoming, but the strengths of the product or the service overcome that shortcoming. But yeah, you're going to have to learn to deal with it. Let's see, any other question? Joey D, when is a sequel to Art of Social Media coming out? Yeah, you reached the two perfect people, so the two authors, Guy and Peg. I can let Peg answer that, but The Art of Social Media, which is a book that we wrote a few years ago, I think became the de facto standard for social media. Lots has happened in a few years. So, for example, Facebook Live. So, yeah, we do need to revise that book. All it takes is an advance, so talk to our publisher. But I'm speaking for myself as opposed to Peg. I will tell you that as an author, I'm on my 14th book right now. And I have to say, you kind of have a psychological break in the sense that you work so long and so hard on a book, and you publish it. And you just want to cast it off into infinity and beyond and, get a trail of royalty payments. But I cannot tell you that psychologically you really want to keep revising and revising a book. You kind of just want to get on to the next book. Or at least that's my attitude. So that's a lot of what prevents me from immediately revising a book. It's just, I want to get on with my life. Let's see. Thoughts on a potential Apple iCar. Oh my God. I mean, imagine if Apple made a car. Oh my God. First of all, it would take electricity and to charge the battery. Now, you can use the industry standard battery charging stations around here, but it would have a special dongle, right? So you'd have to buy a $5,000 dongle to make it hook up to the industry standard charging stations all over, because somehow, they're going to use. They're going to, scratching my head, I just got a warning. They're going to use some kind of special, USB-C 2 connector. So, listen, I'm a Mercedes-Benz brand ambassador, and I know how hard it is to make a great car. Well, I mean, it's one thing to take your computer to the Genius and have it fixed and, reboot it and zap parameter RAM. It's a whole other ball game, boy, in the car business, because when a car screws up, you die. Yeah. Let's see. How can companies evangelize in the modern era when we hit with so much information and so much social media noise? Well, again, I didn't say it was easy. It starts with a great product and it's great messaging. And I still think that, yes, there's a lot of noise, but it's kind of obvious what's noise and what's signal. I don't think it's that hard. So if you complain that there's too much noise and you can't break through the noise, it says something about you, not necessarily the fact that, woe is me, it's so hard to break through the noise. You have to break. It's just life. Everybody has to break through the noise. 100 years from now, people will be saying, oh, yeah, it was so easy back then, but now there's so much noise. Well, everybody always says that, so just man up. Let's see. Amber Mac. Amber Mac says hi. The Amber Mac. Great to see you live from your favorite Canadian ever. Amber Mac. I love Amber Mac. So Amber Mac, I just got out of the water and I am cold. So I am still in my wetsuit here. So I got out of the water. I'm going to go back in the water as soon as this finishes. Julio Ancheta, your thoughts of robots with AI taking human jobs. I think, robots with AI are going to take human jobs. That's going to happen. That horse is out of the barn and it's procreating. I don't think there's anything we're going to do to stop that. There are some fears of AI and all that, but that would be like saying, wow, man, cars are going to take away jobs from horses and wagons. It's going to happen. You just got to deal with it. Let's see. Great to have this time, Jorge. What would be the first step to start with a new product, something that's a bit disruptive, or how to approach products that are more common, good service? So the first step to start with a new product is to get it out there. This is the concept of MVP, minimum viable product, or what I like to say, MVVVP. So my additional two V's are not only viable, but it's valuable, that it's important, it's worth doing, and it's validating, that is, it's supporting your argument, your perspective, your thesis. It's not simply viable. The phrase I use for this is don't worry, be crappy, which is when you are innovative, you can't wait for the perfect world, for the perfect product. You got to ship. So I'm not saying ship crap. I'm just saying that sometimes you just have to ship and fix fast. I think the victory goes to the person or the company that fixes fast, not necessarily the person or company that ships first. Let's see. So I think we're all caught up with questions here. Again, this is based on a Udemy course. You see the link in the comments. Peg says that some people have already bought it right now, so thank you very much. I promise you that this is live video, and I'm just giving you the very thin crust of what the Art of Evangelism is all about. And if you really want to get everything, it's in the Udemy course. What can I say? So, if you want to learn how to evangelize, how to influence and persuade people, how to change people's hearts and minds and actions, the Art of Evangelism, Udemy. Okay, so thank you very much, and I hope you've enjoyed this. And if you're in Santa Cruz, near Pleasure Point, I will shortly be in the water, so see you in the water. Bye. Thanks.